Canadian Immigration Minister Mark Miller, in an interview with Reuters, recently revealed that the number of study permits that Canada has issued to Indian students specifically has fallen by 86% in the last year after the diplomatic row broke out between the two countries. It fell from around 108,000 students to less than 15,000 in the last quarter of the year. Now, Miller attributed this to two main focuses. Firstly, the fact that India had ejected Canadian diplomats who would process these permits and that fewer Indian students had applied for visas due to the tense situation between the two countries. He said, "Our relationship with India has really halved our ability to process applications from India." Now, you'll remember what caused this row. Bilateral relationships between the two countries took a dive after Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau's allegations that he made on the floor of his parliament that there was a potential link between the Indian government agents and the killing of Canadian-based Khalistani separatist Hardeep Singh Nijjar. Now, this was months ago and there has been no submission of any evidence by the Canadian government since then. India called the allegations absurd and motivated. Both New Delhi and Ottawa expelled top diplomats of each other's countries. In October, New Delhi made Canada withdraw 41 of its diplomats and take them back to Canada, which shrank its Indian staff by 2/3. India also issued a travel advisory for Indians traveling to Canada and temporarily suspended all visa services to Canadian citizens. The Ministry of External Affairs describes Canada as a safe haven for terrorists, extremists, and organized crimes. Its sharpest words used for a Western country in recent times. But there's another part to this story: Canada's own housing crisis. The Canadian government has been seeking to reduce the overall number of international students entering its country as part of a response to increasing criticism that it is facing because of its housing affordability crisis. The decision to reduce the number of immigrants is tricky because Canada depends on immigration to drive its economy and to support its aging population. Remember, the Prime Minister Justin Trudeau is even ramping up its annual immigration. International students are often described also as a cash cow for universities, given that they bring in around $22 billion annually for that country. But this has backfired, with many citizens who are blaming the housing crisis on the increase of migrants and international students, which are fueling demands for homes as inflation has slowed construction. So basically what's happening is citizens of Canada are finding it difficult to find homes and to rent homes of their own because they believe that those coming from outside have increased demand and have increased prices. And that's the pressure really that the Canadian government is under. Now, Miller had told Reuters that the key crisis is the sheer volume of the students that are coming into Canada, which the country aims to reduce significantly over a short period of time. He hinted towards a very possible capping of the number of international students being allowed in the country. Canada is otherwise a fairly popular destination because of the relative ease with which people can secure work permits after they finish studying. Official data shows that there were more than 8 lakh foreign students with active visas in 2022, which was up from about 2.7 lakh in 2012. The Canadian government intends to also crack down on what they call fly-by-night universities, which are called designated learning institutes, and also rethink its liberal work permit system. Now, this is important to Indian students because Indian students make up for the largest group of international students in Canada in recent years. More than 41% of the students, international students going to Canada, are from India. But Canada at this point, perhaps using the diplomatic route to cover up the fact that its economy right now is in distress. Its housing crisis needs further attention from the government, and international students, and particularly Indian international students, might not be the problem.